I'm Keith Desserich.
And I'm Brooke Desserich.
You know, if you look at it, there's probably about 2 million people in the United States at any given point that are having some sort of terminal disease or some sort of a hospice type situation. If you look at that and you say that roughly 10% are fighting what we would consider to be kind of this rare terminal disease there, that's 200,000 people. There could be 200,000 people every single year that the PPA, the Promising Pathways Act, could save. What the Promising Pathway Act does more than anything else is it gives us and gives our children the freedom to live. We don't have that right now. What we have is we have a mess of a regulatory process that gets in the way of what people who have very good intentions want to do. I mean, I would argue, ask anybody that's fighting any type of terminal disease out there, would you rather make the choice for your care, or would you rather have somebody else tell you what you can't do? No one's going to say, I want somebody else to decide for me. I mean, I get that we want safety. I get that we want to watch risks. We believe that the same way. You don't think that we feel that exact same way about our kids when we're looking at these types of things? We absolutely do. We just want the ability to be able to make an intelligent decision with it. And then as it proceeds, we also want to collect that data too. And I think that's the other thing that people tend to miss out of the Promising Pathways Act. In addition to the access to drugs, what Promising Pathways Act also does, which I think a lot of people miss it, is it collects data. The other side of the Promising Pathways Act is that when there is a provisional approval of a drug, the data of when that patient participates in it is collected by a third party. Well, that's something that the Compassionate Access Program really doesn't do. In Compassionate Access, when you go and you get approval to get access to this drug, and you get the doctor, and you get the FDA, and you get the IRB, and you get the pharmaceutical company to give you access to it, nobody really focuses on that data. Nobody ever collects it. Nobody ever looks at it to try to protect the next patient that's going to make that decision. And so by not having the Promising Pathway Act, we're actually endangering other people's lives by going around it with a compassionate use. This does everything that we really want it to do. It gives us access to the drugs, it saves lives, it preserves the data, and it makes sure that we can intelligently make decisions not only for our own lives, but make intelligent decisions that may actually help many other people's lives in the process. Sadly enough, what we hear from folks who don't want to support the Promising Pathway Act is that they don't want to get involved. They don't want to change anything about what we do with the FDA, and that's a problem. And you don't realize it until you're on the other side of this. You don't realize it till you're facing a terminal diagnosis that you can't do anything about. I think so many times we focus on safety at the sacrifice of innovation, and that's not always good. The FDA and our bureaucratic system protects people from side effects when, frankly, we're just concerned about dying or our kids dying. I think there has to be a separate track for those that are fighting life and death decisions that doesn't take a year to start, because by then,
we don't have it.
We don't have it. We just don't have that time. It's not enough simply to say, we want the status quo, or it's, we don't know as much as the FDA. We do. We're parents. We've seen our daughter die in front of us. We've seen what we have lost by virtue of that. And every single day that we're in this, for the last 15 years, we've stood alongside these kids as we've offered no choices to them. We know exactly what we're talking about with this. And we do want to get involved, but we want to do it the right way. We want to do it while making sure that we get that information. We want to make sure that we do it with the idea of safety with it. But we also, once we have established those things, we don't want to waste time.
And it may be uncomfortable, it may be unpopular to change the bureaucracy that's been built up year after year, but think about how uncomfortable it is to have your son or your daughter be diagnosed with cancer and them say, there's nothing out there for you. There is no hope and there are no options.
But then only to find out that there are, but you can't get at them.